What's going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and today I've got an updated morning routine for 2021. So I did one of these videos last year, and after spending a whole year at home where I was really able to get a schedule going, I've got an updated one for you, and I've got to say quite a few things have definitely changed. So for those who are brand new or may not know, I am the CEO of a media company, and the main thing with that is the YouTube channel that you guys are looking at right now. I produce nearly 100 videos a year, and across all the social media platforms of YouTube and Instagram where we do brand partnerships, we have about a combined following of 1.4 million. The media company also co-owns a clothing store, the retail location in Victoria, as well as a few pieces of real estate which you guys have seen me document in makeover series on YouTube. So on a typical day, I really try to get up right around 7 a.m. and I know a lot of people out there are able to get up much earlier, but I just don't think that that's something that I want to do. I used to actually sleep into about 9:30, and I do tend to like to work very late at night. So to be honest, when I wake up, I just like go on my phone and watch some TikToks until I absolutely have to get out of bed, and I do try to exercise about 3 to 4 times a week, but I am very flexible with it. One thing that I really have to work on is to be on time in the morning. It just seems to be something that I'm always late for. So because it's the summer, I figured we'd start playing some pickleball just to get some quick cardio in. Started trying some tennis as well, but we also try to hit the gym a couple times, but I'm honestly not the biggest fan of it. I trained with my friend Sean, who you guys might have seen from a setup makeover, and I think pickleball is just a very easy sport to pick up because I'm not really good at tennis, and I've also been trying a ton of golf as well. It's often just the two of us, but there's also occasions where the rest of the team and friends might want to join in, and we'll play a set of doubles and the loser has to pay for breakfast. I'm also technically supposed to try to hit the gym about 3 times a week, but with the great weather outside and as someone who spends the entire day inside, it ends up being like 1 or 2. When it comes to working out, I don't really have like any set goals. I obviously could be in better shape, but it is more of like a maintenance thing just to keep it going and get into like the routine of it. And I also find that it's just a great way to start the day. For the most part, it is really flexible and based on feel, so some days I might do like a 30-minute workout, other days we might hit like 45 minutes to an hour, nothing extreme, and if I go outside for like pickleball, we usually try to play for about an hour or an hour and a half just to get a good sweat going because I'm not a huge fan of running. So usually when I get home, it's around 8:30 to 9, and I try to keep things very simple in terms of getting ready. Honestly, the best way to start and end the day is to hop in the shower, and I'm not really big on like the cold shower thing. I've definitely tried it before, but didn't really find it to be fun at all. I just hop in the shower, and when it comes to like some of the hair products that I use the Cantu curling cream, which just gives like my thick hair like a bit of a curl to it when I'm trying to brush it back. And because we are a Dyson ambassador for their home products, we are also lucky enough to be able to use their hair dryers as well. And the typical routine is just like using the attachment that it came with to get it in the right direction, and then using the diffuser to give it some volume and curl back. And that is followed by the Blue Layrite Natural Cream. And I used to use the black one, but I found that to be a little bit too thick, and the blue one just seems to be perfect. So overall, in terms of the whole like hair routine, it takes like literally a minute or 2. I'll just go for a super quick shave, and the Babyliss Pro is the product that I use for that. And I also put like a dab of the Aesop parsley seed like hydrator for the face. I honestly don't really know what it does, but my face does get a little bit dry sometimes, and the person at the store recommended this. So when it comes to skincare, it is also just like a super simple routine with one product. The scent of choice is the Santal 33 from Le Labo, and I actually don't really know much about like the different scents out there. I just grabbed a sample pack and really liked it, so decided to go with it. So I think the biggest thing I've got to say is when it comes to the morning schedule, it does change very often. And after I like maybe go outside and shower, the first thing that I usually do is start out at the home office, and that's just because I have like my main computer, the dual monitor setup, and all of the editing related stuff right here. So if we're publishing a video that day, I'll finish up the edit and export it, maybe upload it before heading to the office, or I'll send something off to a sponsor. And a lot of the emails or quick things are either done on my phone or on here, or if I head straight to the office, I might start out with doing emails. I think emails are definitely my favorite part of the business, which I know is a little bit odd, but I just like to, I don't know, type away and get that stuff out of the way as early as possible. And because a lot of the different clients are in like the Eastern time, by the time I wake up in the morning, there's a ton of emails to respond to and documents to send. Because the team is also scattered between in-house and remote, I might like hop on a call and talk about some of the things that we have to go over during the day, and everything is stored in our Notion that shows like the to-do list, the things that we're going to kind of work on in the given day, everybody's tasks, and it's just important to kind of brief things at the start start of the day and go over which emails are being sent out or which projects being worked on at the moment. So I would say I spend like usually either like 30 minutes or sometimes even a couple hours at the home office before I drive over to the actual office where we might do like filming and team discussions depending on what we're working on that day. I think eventually I do plan to have an editing station over at the office, but because we're kind of like in between tech products at the moment with like the M1 iMac that is very back ordered and just waiting on that, I just seem to do all my video editing at home. So with the integration of more of an active lifestyle, I want to give a huge thanks to the sponsor of this video, Withings, and their Body Plus Smart Wi-Fi scale. So I'm someone who usually doesn't track like weight and stuff. I usually just eat whatever I want and exercise when I want to, but it's important to keep track of the data to some degree and just have information to reference and ensure there is progression. This scale is an all-in-one system that tracks many metrics of body composition, all to the application, which is the HealthMate app. So some of the metrics that it's able to calculate is weight, body mass index, the total body fat, and also water percentage, as well as muscle and bone mass. The advanced sensors send an undetectable current to give a precise measurement of the body's composition. So from stepping on the scale itself, you can see it gave me a whole bunch of data that was able to be calculated in just a few seconds. And although some of you guys may have noticed that I may have put on a little bit of weight in the last year, you can see that I'm still within a relatively healthy range. As soon as you're done standing on the scale and has measured all the information, it then relays all the information to the application and it will show a comparative data analysis between your last measurements. So if you're in like a specific workout schedule or on a certain diet, you can log all the progress and it shows it very effectively. The Withings Body Plus is the #1 best-selling scale in the US, and if you guys want to go ahead and check it out for yourself with the Prime Day discount on Amazon, I'm going to drop a link down below in the video description. So once all the stuff in the morning is done, right around 9 to 9:30, that's when everyone else starts at the office, and usually by like 9:30, I like to have all the emails done, but obviously from Monday to Friday, there are emails that are going to come in throughout the day. Personally, that is my favorite part, and from the second that I wake up, even if it's like 7 a.m. or something, I'll answer emails immediately from my phone. Something that I also like to do is schedule conference calls as early in the morning as possible or as late in the evening, so it doesn't kind of like disrupt the day while you're trying to film and edit with the team. So now it's time to head out the door and go to the office, and to be honest, I'm usually really slow at this because like either I can't find my keys, my wallet, or something like that, but one thing that I always have is my phone. And we also picked up our Leica camera recently to take some more Instagram photos because I'm someone who hates being in photos, so just getting used to like a candid setup is nice. So as I kind of mentioned, the setup is kind of odd, and the fact that I have a home and also an office setup, and I use both of them a lot. Originally, the intention of the dedicated office space was to obviously give more room for filming, which we really needed, as well as more of a work-life separation. But to be totally honest with you, I didn't really feel like I needed that, but it was nice to at least have all the production equipment and a lot of the main stuff over in a dedicated space. And so far, I do feel like the current workflow format is working quite nicely. Especially with a growing team in the last year going from the 2 of us to like 6 in total now, I think the biggest thing is that there's constant communication throughout the day. Even while I'm driving over, I'll get like text messages and stuff that I'll answer with Siri, which is something that I honestly never did before despite my previous car having Siri as well. As you can probably see, I'm terrible at answering the phone, pretty good at answering emails, and relatively good at responding to text messages. So to be honest, when it comes to breakfast, there really isn't a set routine. And if I'm like at pickleball or tennis or just finish up workout, I'll go grab a coffee with my trainer and friend Sean. Usually there will be like a simple sandwich or breakfast ready at the office, but I definitely make sure I have my coffee each day. Because my focus is usually just like packing the schedule absolutely to the brim and doing nothing fun and literally working 7 days a week, I think the real break that I do get is when we go out to grab like breakfast or dinner as a team. So I try to do that a little bit more often, and I think that's been really good. So sometimes, especially when we have a full house, I'll try to set up like a breakfast or something. So once we go to the office, one thing that is really enjoyable is just to sit down with the team and go over all the things that we're planning to do that day, as well as a current project that we're working on. And a lot of times it is just 2 of us in-house and a few others remote, but in some cases it can be 4 or 5 of us in the office at the same time. Trevor's been around the longest, and he's in charge of the operations, accounting, as well as the project management for the renovation, but he also assists with all the production as well. And Savannah is someone who joined the team recently, and she's on the social media strategy side. So any outreach to companies, as well as pitch decks, strategizing all the captions and also the pages, and she also managed the podcast page and the Dangerfield side, for example. But we are also working on an online course that goes deep into the business side of YouTube and how I built a 7-figure business from a YouTube channel that I started when I was 13. So that is a project that she's been leading. So obviously I really like to put all the content in, but in terms of like the organization and back-end setup, that is something that she has done most of the work on. Trevor and Savannah are both from my university class, but they both graduated and I dropped out a year early. And I think the coolest part about the team is that everything is just very casual. Everyone seems to like fit in and get along and even hang out outside of work. And Chris is someone who I met last year and we kind of just like got along very well. His main thing is working in production in Vancouver, but he comes over 1 to 2 weeks a month just to help us knock out as many videos and ensure the production is all good, as well as the editing side. So in terms of the morning itself, the way I describe it is that it is relatively adaptive. Some days I'll come straight to the office at around 9:30. Other days I might come a little bit later. When we're uploading videos, I'll stay at home first and maybe do some of the emails. Phone calls is also something that I try to get out of the way as early as possible. But we also try to sit down and go over the things that we have to do, sort of like a restaurant, like order list of like little things such as social media posts that have to go up for brand campaigns, any revisions we have to make, deadlines for the day, also some of the stuff with like the renovations, and just brief everybody in the different areas of the business. The core business is the YouTube channel where I spend most of the time, but I also sometimes talk to my business partner on the clothing side and also talk about like the online course that we're working on at the moment. But everything is kind of tracked on Notion, and that is where we have like a database of all the things that we have to do. I like just like sit around in the lounge just to do the phone calls. It's super comfortable, and then I might go up to my desk and get some work done there as well. But it really does change depending on whether we're filming that day or if we're just editing and uploading. So once I get everything done in the morning, I'll have like my breakfast in like a scattered format, whether it is on the way from pickleball or the workout, or just like eating while I'm going through emails and revisions and all the different files and coordinating with everybody. After we're done like the whole like morning admin stuff, it is usually time to set up, because we tend to film, I would say 4 to 5 times a week at the very least. But by the time we film, it's usually around the afternoon, so you guys aren't really going to see that in this video, but we do try to get a head start on setup wherever we can. The main intention with this lounge area is obviously just to have like a place where we could film, but also just sit down and have the laptop connected to the TV so everybody can see what's going on one screen and make any changes accordingly to the schedule or the content plan. I feel like with any business that is like very adaptive in its schedule, and in my case where it is essentially my entire life with a little bit of balance in between but not too much of it, having a very casual team is very important. That way it doesn't always feel like work. And when I mean casual, I mean I'll ask like Chris to come to the gym with me and try to box me, and as you can see, we both absolutely suck, so I guess I'm not going to be fighting any YouTubers anytime soon. I actually took like 2 weeks of boxing lessons, but because of the travel schedule I used to have and really didn't stick to it, so that never happened. But I'm still a huge fan of watching boxing, even before like a whole bunch of social media people decided to start fighting each other. So now like the morning meetings, some of the video uploads and publishing, emails, calls, and all that kind of stuff is done. Obviously the meat in the day is to get the videos filmed, and I try to set everything up or have the team set everything up before around the midway point of the day, just so we can have a lunch, talk about what the game plan is, and film through the afternoon. The setup is constantly changing, and I try to keep it as fresh as possible, because with over 100 videos that we make a year, it is super easy to run out of ideas. So as you can probably tell on the channel, we do like pivot certain video ideas off of each other's into like different ways of lifestyle and technology. So a lot of times we might be at the office in a setup that has a ton of lighting. We might use the coffee table for a flat lay, the den for a fixed set, the upstairs for another casual setting, or I'll just go over to my house and use natural lighting because that is simply the easiest. So now that the camera gear is all ready, that pretty much takes us to the end of the morning routine. So I'm also going to talk a bit about the weekends, and I'd say like Monday to Friday the schedule is generally the same, but I do work on Saturday or Sundays. It is just a bit of a different format. I'll sleep in maybe a little bit more, and I might stop by the office, but for the most part, I do all the admin work and editing at my house, and that is the reason why I kept the large home office. The only real difference is that I might have like a break in the middle of the day to either go get brunch or maybe play some golf, but otherwise, like Sundays, for example, are great for planning and any emails that have to be sent out. Saturdays are usually an editing and upload day because I find that that's when you guys seem to like to watch the videos. So we do try to time the schedule to publish every single Saturday, but I like to just like, I don't know, do less filming on the weekend specifically and focus more on catching up on the edits and the administrative side and just some of the errands such as like cleaning my house, which I don't do very often, and just making sure the lifestyle side of things is in order for the next week. I also have gone outside quite often lately, whether it's like playing pickleball or whatever on a Saturday or a Sunday, and I feel like that's just a way to get up a little bit earlier because even though it is nice to sleep in, I do find that if I sleep in on a weekend, it often becomes like 12 or 1 by the time I get out of the house, and it just makes the day a lot shorter. So that pretty much wraps it up for my morning routine. I think what you guys might notice from the video and what is like the most realistic look at a week and how each day starts is that it is relatively adaptive. The way I get ready is exactly the same. I try to go outside about 3 times a week, and I'll choose between either doing pickleball or going to the gym. Personally, I don't like going to the gym that much, but you probably can tell I need to. So it is flexible for the most part, and I think especially with the last year and the lack of travel, that has allowed me to try to build different patterns into the lifestyle, which are still constantly changing. But in the past, it might have been like one week I have to get up at 3 in the morning and get to the airport on a Monday morning, and I'd be back by like the Wednesday after going to Europe for 2 days, and the week after I'd have to fly somewhere again. So it was like constant jet lag. The sleep time would kind of adapt with that. But I think this last year has allowed me to kind of figure out what is the optimal setup, and at the moment I've been trying to get up at around 7 a.m. If you guys watched last year's morning routine, you might have noticed that like it wasn't really set at the time. It was just a time where I was getting used to staying at home for a long period of time. And so I used to sleep in until like 9:30 and sometimes even 10, and I would just work really, really late. And although I still work till like 12 or 1 each day, I think waking up at 7 is one that I've been able to stay consistent with. And I also tried like some days where I'd alternate a 9 a.m. wake up with a 7 a.m. wake up, but it just didn't really work. As soon as I wake up, there's already things to respond to, deadlines and all that kind of stuff. And the biggest area of adaptability is just what goes on in the morning. If it's a filming day, we go through the notes and like chat over that and set up the camera and just prepare to film like a lot of A-roll and B-roll. And generally speaking, I'm able to film a video in a day, and other days are publishing days. So if we're like uploading a video, I'll have to go over to the computer and just like check and make sure the video is all ready to go, upload it, the client's approved it, check the links, the thumbnail's all good, and just essentially get it ready to put on YouTube. And that can either take like 30 minutes or it could take 2 hours if there's a lot of things to fix. As I mentioned in the video, I sort of have like 2 offices, and it's kind of an odd setup because my home is kind of my office and where like the main desk is, the main computer, and where I edit most of my videos. But the office itself is also kind of like a home setup where I might go and watch TV on the weekends because it is just a really nice industrial living room. It also has a kitchen there, and most of the food is actually cooked over there, not by me. But I try to get into the office some days at 9:30 when everyone starts, or other days I might be at home just getting some stuff done before heading over to the office and having like a meeting with the team and calls and all that stuff. And that really does change depending on just the schedule. And I think what's fun about this industry is that things are constantly changing. It is very reactive, and I think with any morning routine, you do want to have things that you establish and keep throughout every single day, such as like getting ready and like the clothing that you pick. I like just keep it super simple, so it's one less thing to think about. The way I do my hair is the same, and like small variations here and there over the past few years. Those are things that you want to kind of keep in place to just free up time to be productive and focus on what is reactive in your given day. And that does depend on which industry you work in. Even with like food, it's between like just eating whatever's available or like going to a specific coffee shop every day. I do find that I get bored easily, but I am definitely a creature of habit. I had Starbucks for like 3 years in a row, and I didn't even like it, honestly. And I didn't like the wrap that I was eating there, but it was just something that I was used to and thought of every morning when I got out of bed. And eventually I switched the coffee shops that I went to, and I found that I've been sticking to that for the past couple months. So I am a creature of habit, but I do like to break the pattern sometimes and just see how long I can stick to something. And one of the ones that I've just been really trying to integrate lately is going outside more and exercising more, because there was like a year-long stretch where I didn't exercise at all just because the schedule was so all over the place. If you guys enjoy videos like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a like on this video, and leave a comment down below. But that was a look at my morning routine, and I'll see you guys in the next one.